There it is. All right, so welcome to our March PTO meeting. I'm Erin Plash. I'm one of the co-presidents. I have a 6th grader and a 3rd grader.
And I'm Stacy Anderson, and I have a 5th grader and a 3rd grader. I have to think about that every time.
One other thing, if you're new to our meetings, is we keep the chat open. And so if you have any questions for Natalie, especially on this, we like to keep that document open, and then she'll respond to us when she has time to do so, which probably is very hard to find, but she's good at that. We usually start also with a round robin intro, real quick, nothing fancy. And I'll just read off from my screen the order that they come in. So we'll start with Jen. You're first on my screen today.
Hi everybody, I'm Jen Gale, and I have a 5th grader coming out to the car in a second from volleyball, and I have a 3rd grader at Meadowbrook. Nice to see everybody.
Great, Jen. And then I'm next, then Natalie, you'd be after that.
All right, welcome. Thanks for being here tonight. I'm Natalie, your principal. And then I also have 2 students at Meadowbrook, a 6th grader and a 3rd grader.
And then we have the Luz.
Hi, Natalie Lou. And my husband Young and I have a little girl, Tilly, who is a 5th grader. Rocky is also joining us tonight, the Bashan.
Awesome, he looks cozy.
Yeah.
Heidi.
I'm Heidi. I have a 3rd grader and fingers crossed a stepping stones in the fall, stepping stone student as well.
Awesome. Emily.
Hi, my name's Emily. I have a kindergartner at Meadowbrook. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Janelle.
Hi everyone, I'm Janelle. I have a 6th grader. I also have a 7th grader at North.
Awesome. Betsy.
Good evening, Betsy Anderson. We have
my goodness, Betsy, how are you?
Hi, Stanley.
Oh, hi.
My friend.
Goodness.
I'm a Meadowbrook parent now. Can you believe that?
I remember when you were with child.
Exactly. Stanley and I go way back from school board days, so it's so fun to have you with us tonight. We have a 1st grader at Meadowbrook, and then our youngest is 2.5.
Oh my goodness. Nice to see you, Betsy.
You too.
Shanna.
Hi, I'm Shanna, and we have a 1st grader named Sophie.
Awesome, thank you. And Mr. Brown, you're next.
I am Stanley Brown. I'm from the Office of Equity and Inclusion for Hopkins Schools. Nice to be here to see everyone.
Thank you for coming.
Absolutely.
Mr. Lawson. He may be in the car too getting kids, so we'll skip over him. Dave.
Hello, I'm Dave Dutcher, PTO treasurer. I have 2 kids at Meadowbrook, a 4th grader and a 6th grader.
Awesome, thanks, Dave. He's also our fearless treasurer. Anne.
Hi, Anne Gorell. I have a 5th grader and a 1st grader.
Thanks, Anne. Jody.
Hello, I'm Jody Gruen. I have a 3rd grader and a 5th grader.
Heather.
Hi, Heather Conover. I have a 1st grader, Evelyn, in Mr. Bell's class.
Welcome. Colleen.
Hi, I have a 2nd grader and a 5th grader, and I'm Colleen Michaels.
Thanks. Cindy.
I am Cindy Kiroshibi, and I have a 1st grader and then 1 at North.
Awesome. Katie.
Hi, I'm Katie Long. I have a 4th grader and a kindergartner.
Welcome. Farhia. She may not be available to speak right now either. So thank you guys for doing that. It's always nice to put a name with a face or hear who's here. We'll start our meeting with Mrs. Sawatsky's update.
All right. Well, so much to say since our last time, but we just wrapped up Service Week. So thank you to our Service Week champions in the PTO. I think Cammie was just asking how many completed bingo boards we had. And I think I had like 150 to 200 student names to read on the announcements. So we had lots of families participating in the kindness bingo. So that was great. And this week is I Love to Read Week. And so we have been, we're doing daily book giveaways in the morning announcements. And then we'll do Cozy Up with a book on Thursday and wear pajamas. So now I'll disclose this, that I'm not like a dress up, get kind of crazy person. Like I'm very out of my comfort zone in costume. And I know I have the biggest shoes to fill because Dr. EB was very comfortable looking that way. So I'm already trying to decide what pajamas I'll be wearing on Thursday. And then walk around uncomfortable all day. No. But the other thing I thought about sharing was, so this year for Black History Month, we really had students take charge. And so we had students from our student leadership group submit some videos that we shared on Good Morning Meadowbrook. And we also had students identify who they would like us to recognize and learn about and celebrate with our morning announcements. So I had so many student submissions of people that even I got to learn a little bit more about. And there were some real like sweet ones too. They wanted like some friends recognized or grandparents recognized for their roles in community activism. So it was just a really great time of recognition. And I captured everyone on a Google Doc that I think I shared via Canvas. So yeah, I think that's my update for now.
If I may, everyone, can I introduce myself? I'm Trenton Lawson. I'm the assistant principal. I apologize for not stepping in earlier, but I was on mute and driving. So
it happens
nice
to the rest of us. It is nice that we can do these things at the same time, right? Like the technology allows us to now be present in things we weren't always able to do. So we do appreciate that.
All right.
Okay, so we have invited Dr. Brown here to our PTO meeting to kind of talk with us about his role in the district and what we can do as a group of PTO parents and caregivers to help move up that work forward in our school at Meadowbrook. So I give the floor to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I am delighted to be with you. I've been with Hopkins since 2008, and my role is to work with parents, superintendent, principals, students on what does it mean for Hopkins schools to live up to the creed that all are welcomed here. And so that's a big charge to say in Hopkins schools, everyone that comes to Hopkins schools is welcome, regardless of your race, your creed, your zip code, you are welcome here. And so what does that mean for us to be a welcoming environment, a welcoming climate, a welcoming school district for every one of us, regardless who we are? And so what does that mean for a PTO? So how does a PTO, dedicated, hardworking parents like you, whom are giving up your time and volunteering your hours to say that we believe in Hopkins schools, we believe in what Hopkins schools stand for, and we want to stand in solidarity with you because you are here for our scholars. Your number one role is to educate our scholars for the world of tomorrow, for the world that they are going out into. And we want to stand in solidarity with you. And so I am always, I've been in education, I will just say over 30 years. I've been a principal, I have taught most grades. And I tell you, any principal will tell you to have dedicated parents, reliable parents, loving parents to help out when you can call. I'm telling you, it's worth gold. And so I just want to thank you for being partners with us. And thank you for being here with us, standing with us, because we could not do this without your trust in us. You trust us enough to send your prized possession, your children, your scholars, to us to say, Hopkins, I am trusting you enough to love my child, to cherish my child, and to educate my child to be the best that he or she can be. And so what does that mean for the parent body to say, okay, this is what we want to be in partnership with you. This is what we will vow to do. This is what we are claiming that we can be with you. So it's always good to look at our purpose and revisit what our purpose is. And so let's revisit what is the purpose of the PTO as you see it, as you partner with your principal, as you partner with Hopkins Schools. Let's put the purpose in our minds and formulate a statement that we can live with to say, if anyone on the street asked you, well, what do you do to participate in your child's education? And you say, well, I belong to the PTO of Meadowbrook School. And then the person will say, as you're standing on Cub Food Line, well, what does the PTO stand for? And you will say, well, this is what we stand for. So let's brainstorm. So let's say I had some magic dust. And if someone could write in the chat box the responses, if someone could do that, that would be great. So I'm sprinkle some magic dust in the virtual room that we're all in right now. And I said, what would you like Meadowbrook's PTO to look like, to feel like, to be like? What would you say? And there are no right or wrong answers. We're going to come up with all the responses. We're going to review all the responses. Then we're going to come up with 3 or 4 statements. There are no right or wrong answers.
So Betsy said community.
Community, great.
Parkia says welcoming to everyone.
Welcoming to everyone.
Feel free to unmute and say yours if you'd prefer, not just sit in the chat, and I'll put it in the chat for you.
Equal opportunity. Anne said equal opportunity for everyone. Excellent.
I was going to say supporting the mission of the school and the teachers. That's important to me.
Great. Thank you, Jen. Colleen said non-judgmental.
Dedicated.
I was going to say that I hope that the PTO, like parents would say that the PTO recognizes that I have a strength and they can find a spot to use that strength to make our school stronger.
So how do you want to phrase that, Principal Sawaski?
Like sees my strengths and utilizes them.
Okay,
to make
so
our- yeah.
as the group, as the PTO group, the PTO group sees my strength as a parent and come to me and say, I see it written on your forehead. I see your strength written on your forehead. Come follow me. Right, exactly. Good, good, good. See and utilize strength of individuals. Erin, thank
Is
you,
that what
Erin.
you meant, kind of, Natalie? Okay.
Yes, great.
There's a couple more in the chat. Would you like me to read them, or can you see
Yes,
the
please.
chat too?
Yes, please read them.
Okay, so did we get non-judgmental,
Mm-hmm.
purpose-driven, to support innovative learning and teaching, safe space for all parents, inclusive, together for the best interest of all students and teachers, asking questions and seeking to understand, a place where all parents truly feel they have agency. We said the C's and utilize the strength of individuals, and then empowered.
Excellent, excellent. Does anyone else want to put anything in? Oh, here's another one. Here's the last one.
Yep, it says, I love that every family is a PTO member, no dues or registration needed. I always wish more people viewed their own voice as powerful and attended more. That is something that we've always, anytime it gets brought up about putting dues out, it's very much part of our mission, I guess, or purpose to nope, everybody belongs, everybody is in the PTO regardless of if you put in your
Absolutely
money.
Absolutely. And anyone else want to add something to the chat before we move to our next step? Okay. Could you do me a favor and read all of them one more time, please, from the very first one?
Yes, I will. I'll just read them without names attached. Is that okay?
Yes, that's
Okay.
fine. Yes.
So we started with community, welcoming to everyone, equal opportunity for everyone, supportive to teachers, students, staff, and other family, non-judgmental, purpose-driven, to support innovative learning and teaching, a safe space for all parents, inclusive, together for the best interest of all students and teachers, asking questions and seeking to understand, a place where all parents truly feel they have agency, see and utilize strength of individuals, empowered, and I love that every family is a PTO member, no dues or registration needed. I always wish more people viewed their own voice as powerful and attended more.
Great. So here's what I want us all to do. We want to come up with 4 statements of purpose. I want you to take just a short period of time and read everything that's in the chat box. And let's start synthesizing all of our thoughts. Let's try to put all of our thoughts together to come up with 4 statements of purpose for our PTO. We're going to come up with 4 statements of purpose.
So Stanley, these are like thinking of like mission vision type statements?
Yes,
okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Lovely.
I love your background also.
Thank you. I work
love-
for PepsiCo and we're all into the backgrounds. Our Black History Month one was actually fantastic, but now it's celebrating women. Let's lift her up.
That's right. And I'm sending out a Women's History Statement every day. I did it for Black History Month. One a day that teachers could use in the classroom, and I'm doing it. So if you have anything that you want to send me, send my way, please.
I frankly might have some stuff because we have quite a bit of programming. So I will definitely take you up on that.
Send it my way.
I will.
My way, please, 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 please.
We'll do it, Stanley.
Because I always tell everyone, our scholars cannot become what they do not see.
I would 100% agree with that.
And we truly have to be all about showing our scholars, the women that have paved the way, the women that have laid the groundwork for us where we are today. And we cannot forget that. Oh, don't get me started on that. Let's get back to our.
I was going to say, there is my parting words are there is nothing better than being on a town hall in a predominantly male industry and every single background is pink, which happened today. And it was fantastic.
Great. Okay, anyone want to start? There is no rhyme or reason. Just let's just pick some and go for it. We can add, subtract. There's nothing written in stone. We'll be adding and subtracting it. And if someone could, as anyone speaks, if someone could put it in the chat box, then that would be great.
So when I look at these, I see a lot of, at least one thing that comes to mind is a lot of commentary on safe space. So whether we call it safe space or not, it's about a space that is carved out specifically for open thought and open dialogue. So, and not to use the word safe space, but something along the lines of kind of a desire or a commitment to creating space for diversity of thought that is safe and is all about kind of education at its heart, right? So if you're someone who maybe is needing some education, that it's a safe place for you as an adult to get your education, but then also that safe space for our children to get that education.
Great. Can you put that in a chat box, please?
Will do.
And then
thank you. I was trying to like summarize and having a hard time.
Yeah.
My brain, I'll do it.
Right. She will put it in the chat box. Emily will put it in the chat box. Janelle said, we will speak truth and be ready to acknowledge discomfort in order to support all families at Meadowbrook. Does anyone want to add to that or comment on that? On that first one, we will speak truth and be ready to acknowledge discomfort in order to support all families at Meadowbrook. Does anyone want to add something to that or subtract something from that? All right, give me a signal that of agreement that could be our first statement. Give a thumbs up or some signal that could be our first statement. I see a lot of thumbs up that will be our first statement. So can someone write that first statement down, please? We will speak truth and be ready to acknowledge discomfort in order to support all families at Meadowbrook. Emily, did you put yours in?
I was wordsmithing it right now. It's almost there.
All right, that's fine.
We have one other one in there too, Dr. Brown.
I'm sorry.
There's another one in there. It says, Cindy says, PTO is an organization that will have bold and courageous conversations to empower students and families.
All right. Now there's another one, create a non-judgmental space with an equal opportunity for all families of Meadowbrook. Now, can we combine those two into one? Can we wordsmith those two into one?
This is Cindy. Instead of equal, I'd like to say equitable, because I don't know if that, I'm looking at it again. It's space with an equal opportunity and equitable opportunity for all families, just going off of.
I think he's asking how we could combine the one you
Oh,
were-
yeah.
the one that I had typed in there. So
gotcha.
I think that that's good.
Because it's both are
Very
speaking
similar.
to the same, don't you think?
Yes.
Does it work to say PTO is an organization that will have bold and courageous conversations to create equitable opportunities for all families?
Mhm.
Is that taking out too much? But
Can you write that in, please?
Sure.
Write that in the chat, because
Will do.
sometimes we have to see it written
Yes.
to it sounded fantastic.
I really like the non-judgmental aspect of that. So maybe we could say PTO is a non-judgmental organization. I don't want to lose that phrase.
Mhm.
I wonder if it's possible to elaborate a little bit more on the non-judgmental without getting into the nitty-gritty and say something like, just your presence is enough. You don't have to work on committees or give a bunch of money is what I'm saying. And I think, and I'm just gonna say what I feel, and I don't mean any offense, that I think often I had this feel when I first came to Meadowbrook that, oh my gosh, I can't do that because I don't have 25 hours.
Yes.
I don't have money to do that, and I can't be a chair of anything. And so somehow I think that's what non-judgmental means, but I would love to see the specifics in there to make other people feel welcome, that it's okay to just read a newsletter and you are a part and you can send an email, or I don't know exactly what I want to say, but it's the non-judgmental part.
I want to keep with that non-judgmental theme. So could that be the third point? Let's use non-judgmental as a third point and build and add to that, so it doesn't get lost, because Betsy had that feeling also. So let's use the non-judgmental theme for the third point. Let's go
And
back.
then that allows us the time to kind of unfold it a little bit.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
I'm also wondering, Betsy and Jeanette, like if I went to a person-centered training today and I was trying to think about, because it's seeing where the essence of the person is, seeing what's important to them. You know, so I was trying to create some way to put that in, knowing that when we say person-centered, we have a multifaceted approach in that, and that, you know, it's not a one-on-one encounter, it's an encounter with your scholars, your families, your staff. But I think we're all driving in towards something.
So, Colleen, can you read what you put in the chat, please?
Yeah, so I tried to synthesize it, but it might need more work. But I said Meadowbrook organization is an organization that will have bold and courageous conversations to create, and empower equitable opportunities for all members of Meadowbrook.
Okay.
So we might need to tweak it a little bit, but I was trying to take Cindy and Aaron's good statements and kind of bring some pieces together.
Yes. How does that feel to the group for the second statement? Meadowbrook PTO is an organization that will have bold and courageous conversations to create and empower equitable opportunities for all members of Meadowbrook community.
I love that Colleen fixed it. Yay.
Can I get a thumbs up then?
If I can add something, I did put the word inclusive in there. I added that because, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I added that because I think that I heard a parent say that when they first came, they thought that they wouldn't be able to participate in these groups and wouldn't be able to give money and wouldn't be able to do those things. But I think when you talk about being inclusive, you're actually including people with purpose. And so that's why I wanted to add that word in there, because it's almost like we have to seek people out and include them.
And
those people who don't feel comfortable including themselves.
Right. And Principal Sawaski added that for our third point, because she also added the non-judgmental. So thank you very much, Mr. Larson. Let's go back to the second point that Emily and Colleen was wordsmithing. Look at the chat box. Emily and Colleen were wordsmithing. Emily said, we are committed to creating a safe space for families and staff to grow and learn about community we live in and also serve. And Colleen said, Meadowbrook PTO is an organization that will have bold and courageous conversation to create and empower equitable opportunities for all members of the Meadowbrook community. How can we combine those two to make one statement? Or Colleen, did you combine Emily's thoughts into that second one?
No, I think we were posting at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah. I had gone more off of Cindy and Aaron's.
Okay.
It was an inclusive non-criminal that will welcome.
Yeah, we can.
Because the way we kind of can look at it is you can't really have bold and courageous conversations if you don't have a safe space.
That's
so
right.
Maybe that's where they kind of can cross paths, because otherwise it's just going to be non-productive.
Absolutely.
I just wanted to add in there also, somebody had put in the chat earlier that asking questions and seeking to understand. I feel like that really fits in there as well in some way. As in PTO, kind of the inviting people to come in with us, my big question that I have to ask is how can we do that better? So seeking to understand what it is that we can do better as your PTO co-presidents, and just figuring out, so I think that's an important part of our mission as well as us learning.
Yes.
I think this is.
I'm sorry, Anel.
No, I was just going to say, I think where I'm getting at, and perhaps this isn't the right place, but in the beginning of the year, we talked about this is the first year where Meadowbrook is acknowledging that the PTO should have an equity and inclusion sort of committee, and just sort of figuring that out. And full transparency, we haven't done a whole lot, just trying to figure out what we need to be doing. And I think what perhaps we need to be doing is, all these statements are true, and I believe we're a well-intended group, but unfortunately, the world is full of these really pretty statements about equity and inclusion, and there's lots of chairs and committees formed. How does that look? Mm-hmm. And I would love us to not be so product-based, and to even put a statement out there that is the nitty-gritty. Yeah. We will say things like, you don't have to donate a lot of money. I mean, I don't know that everybody knows that you don't have to pay dues to be on the PTO. It's out there. We've advertised it, but how do we put that into a statement that actually shows we're trying to be inclusive, instead of using all this language that to me is getting sort of performative in a way. And I don't mean just us, but I think the world right now. So is there space to get really just
here is what I would suggest, because quite honestly, I do this, and typically 3 to 4 hours, 4 times, and I'm doing it in a half hour. But what I would suggest you to do is to have a statement of purpose that the PTO of Meadowbrook School is a parent organization with no dues, none, and that's your statement of purpose. And then underneath your statement of purpose, then you would have these 4 points of what your sort of goals are. But I would agree with you, Janelle, that in your statement of purpose, parents should know that we are a non-dues collecting organization, and whatever else you want to describe yourself. And then underneath that, then you could have the 4 purposes.
So I don't want to sort of blow up the Zoom meeting, but maybe we could have a bigger discussion about if our statement of purpose could say something like, we are a non-due collecting, acknowledging that our PTO in the past is a predominantly white, upper middle class group that's making the decisions.
Yeah.
I think we should say that. Maybe, I don't know where, but I think that's what needs to go on.
Sure.
You guys might just kick me out of the Zoom now. I'm trying to speak truth.
Oh, no, that, and that's, and one of the 4 statements of courageous conversations is speak your truth. Speak your truth as you see it. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that greatly. And
I also think like there's nothing wrong. I think there's nothing wrong in saying like historically, we have not been diverse focused. Like I actually think there's a lot of courage in acknowledging the fact that things have just been status quo. And I've been a part of an organization where we stood back and said, we have historically not been great at this, and we are making a diligent effort to be more focused and to provide more opportunities that are going to reach the broader community. So I think sometimes we're like hesitant to admit prior just kind of like blindness. And I think there's a lot of courage in saying like, we know we can do better and we want to. Absolutely. And that will give individuals more comfort coming forward and saying, I want to participate because now I know what the playing field is.
That's right. That's sure. Now, if you want to invite me back next month, we can work on a statement of purpose, and that will be our statement of purpose. And then under our statement of purpose will be the, let's say, goals that we operate by. But if we finish these 4 tonight, then I can come back next month. So you meet every month?
We don't, but I feel like we could have
I was
a
actually
meeting
gonna say,
just for that.
Right. I was
purpose.
going to say, if we could have a bump out, and then I would almost, I know Janelle and Cindy, I would actually love if maybe your group could take the lead on this.
Like host.
I think that would be a really great maybe start for you guys of, you know, kind of how we want to move forward on things. And Dr. Brown here would be an amazing amount of help. So
great.
Right. And to build off of what Janelle said, like, I would agree, these statements are necessary and needed and great, but I feel like there needs to be also internal work, because everybody heard that. Yeah. Internal work, like even within the PTO to figure out how to do this change.
Yes.
You know, so about some of that stuff.
Yeah, sorry, I wasn't meaning dropping it in your lap. I was just saying you guys we would love to be a part of that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not always, you know, the same people. I think that's good too.
Yeah.
Okay. Wait.
Farhia, I think Farhia had unmuted. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I would love to comment. I just want to go off on saying that all the mission statement is great. I have been a parent here at Meadowbrook for almost 6 years now, and I understand that some of us have the time and the dedication to give it to the school, and as involved parent as I am, and as I love to volunteer because my children are there. I think the thing that we need to acknowledge the most is just making sure that if someone comes into the BTO meeting, or whether they come in every meeting or whether they come in one time, that they're always welcome, that it's a space where they can feel comfortable. I think in the past, this is something we can all learn from, it just feels like the BTO only belongs to a certain group, regardless of how involved we are at the school and how much we dedicate ourselves to the school. So I think we need to make sure our actions are matching with our statement.
Thank you. Thank you very much. All right.
You're welcome.
We have statement 1 and we have statement 3. I think Principal Sawatsky gave us a gift of statement 3, which included the non-judgmental and the inclusive. But we still have to work on that number 2 that Emily and Colleen gave us. So how do we combine those 2 statements for number 2? Or do we take one and add words from the other?
Near the end of the chat, Emily had posted a new statement also.
Okay, I'm not at the end. Let's see.
The PTO is a safe space, it begins with.
Oh, there we go. Okay. The PTO is a safe space to have bold and courageous conversations in order to serve the community and families of Meadowbrook. Education is a continuous process, and so at Meadowbrook, we believe this is not just done within the 4 walls of school. That's beautifully stated.
I feel honored that you acknowledged that. Thank you.
Yes,
That's not what I do for a job, so.
That's beautifully stated, Emily.
Thank you. I'm gonna tell my husband that.
I say that we use that for number 2. A thumbs up from anyone to use that for number 2. Is someone taking notes?
Yes, we have notes, and on Zoom, it sends me a transcript of the chat too.
Oh, great. Okay,
and,
so
Anne wrote in the chat, but it was just a direct message to me. I think she meant it for everybody, that she's documenting everything, and she's going to send it to Erin and Stacy.
Oh, great.
So our brave secretary is on it.
Great. Just make sure she gets my good side. I didn't put on makeup, so make sure she gets my good side. All right, good. So we've got number 2, and then Principal Sawatsky kept with our promise of using the inclusive and judgmental to say that PTO is an inclusive, non-judgmental organization that will welcome everyone in order to utilize our combined strengths to help our students in school thrive. It got to the non-judgmental that I think, Janelle, you spoke of that, did you not? So we got the non-judgmental in there. We got the inclusivity that Assistant Principal Lawson put. So give a thumbs up if we could use that one for number 3. A thumbs up if we could use that one for number 3. So we have the first statement, which is we will speak truth and be ready to acknowledge discomfort in order to support all families at Meadowbrook. That's number 1. Then we have number 2. The PTO is a safe space to hold to have bold and courageous conversations in order to serve the community and families of Meadowbrook. Education is a continuous process, and so at Meadowbrook, we believe this is not just done within the four walls of school. That's number 2. And then number 3 is PTO is an inclusive, non-judgmental organization that will welcome everyone in order to utilize our combined strengths to help our students in school thrive. I think that's beautiful. Give a thumbs up and approval of those 3. And then next month we can come back and do a statement of purpose and number 4. Can you give a thumbs up or put a thumbs up on it, please? Great. I want to honor your time. I was told a half hour and I went to about 45 minutes. So I want to be respectful of your time. So when I come back next month, we'll work on a statement of purpose and the 4th statement. Now, it would be great if someone could send those out to every person on the Zoom call so that they know what we worked on. And then as you digest it over the month, maybe we want to add or subtract something, but I think that as it stands, it's a very powerful. I think those 3 are very, very, very powerful. And think about what we want to put in the last statement. And think about what we want to add as the purpose, statement of purpose. And I just want to remind us that the statement of purpose need to include some very important topics that came up this evening. And they were someone coming new to Meadowbrook can read the statement of purpose and feel that the PTO is a place for them because they don't have to have what typical PTOs around the country require. Did I grasp that, Janelle? Okay, great. So that's what we will work on next month as a statement of purpose. This was wonderful.
Perfect. Well, Dr. Brown, we really appreciate you being here and look forward to continuing the conversation.
You are quite welcome. Principal Sawaski and Vice Principal Lawson, you are 2 fortunate beings to lead a school with a parent body like this. You're very, very, very fortunate. So Principal Sawaski, let me know the date and time the next time we meet. Thank you, my dear friends. I have been fortunate to be with you this evening. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I've got to tune into a school board meeting now.
Perfect.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you. You are quite welcome. Have a good night, everyone, and thank you again for allowing me to participate with you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Okay, we are not on mute.
Perfect. All right. Well, I think that started a really great conversation, and I'm excited to continue that. So Janelle and Cindy, for sure, will be working with you, and we'll work with Natalie and getting
Anybody
some time
else
scheduled with. Yes, of course. And we'll get it put out on Facebook when that is happening and occurring, so that we can hopefully have an even larger group to continue the conversation. So perfect. Well, I will move on real quick to the service night recap. Although real quick, I'll try. They sent us a nice long. So service night, or service week was very different this year. And I think some good things happened. So update from them. Project Linus was the blankets. We received a $250 grant from Thrivent. With that was enough money to purchase fleece for 30 blankets. And on top of that, we estimated there were about 40 blankets that were made by the Meadowbrook community and donated. For racial justice, there wasn't anything on the page to like complete, but it was the third most viewed page on the blog. So hopefully there were some really great conversations about race happening at home based off of that. PRISM or the diaper drive. A few boxes were dropped off at Meadowbrook. PRISM did meet their goal for 2021 diapers. They even exceeded it. $500 will be donated from PTO and the Service Night Committee to PRISM. The Meadowbrook Family Support Fund, nearly $600 was donated. Important to note, donations are still open and those will continue to be accepted until the end of the week. And an additional $500 again will be donated from PTO or the Service Night Committee for that. Cards for the community, we received about 40 cards. And if you still want to donate, again, it's not too late on that. The kindness kits, 7 kits were purchased. And the discount code is, again, still available if people are interested in continuing that at home. It was the first year we tried a blog to communicate about the information on this instead of having a one-night event. And there were over 1,300 page views. So good job, Meadowbrook community, on getting involved in Service Week. And hopefully we did some good.
For sure. Thanks for updating us, Stacy.
Yes.
Just the rest of our meeting kind of is a few little updates. We'll be real quick. One big one though, that maybe is on some people's minds, I know it's on the kids' minds. We did make the decision to move the carnival to fall. It has a proposed date of fall, obviously still somewhat up in the air, but definitely not an in-person spring carnival this year. The Meadowbrook Run team has yet to make a determination on their event. They said they were going to meet in the next couple of weeks and see what they could work out. If they can't have the typical big event, they were planning to work on some alternate plans. I'm going to pass it on to our fearless Meadowbrook Mingle people to give us an update because that's our next big event that's coming up. So Emily or Jody.
Awesome. Yeah. Wow, I was truthfully not ready for the intensity of tonight. I think it was awesome though, so I'm here for it, and I'm happy then to also share that we are kind of full steam ahead on our largest fundraiser for Meadowbrook with the Meadowbrook Mingle. So we are obviously going to be moving to virtual. So hopefully next year we'll be back in person and celebrating together, but we're going to be on a virtual platform with kind of multiple opportunities throughout the course of about 2 weeks actually to support the Meadowbrook Mingle. So it's going to be a mix for those of you who maybe were not familiar with it previously. It was an in-person one-night event with some bidding open for auction items throughout the course of a week. It will still have an auction element over the course of a week, but it will obviously be far fewer physical items than in the past. And so we're going to kind of mix it with some additional great gathering type events, so opportunities to connect with other Meadowbrook families virtually, of course, and some of like the outdoor events that we have previously valued that are still COVID friendly. We will also have kind of a cash to give element as well, along with a handful of really interesting and diverse ways to support the Meadowbrook community, thinking through outdoor furniture, outdoor learning opportunities. Where can we create that space for students? How can we create different opportunities to learn within the building and continue to support parents or continue to support the staff in the school? And so we will have an online platform. It will be over the course of about 2 weeks in which we're totally fundraising. And we have a lofty goal of 20,000 this year. So we feel like we can do it. And we feel like we have a ton of different interesting ways to engage with our community. And I'll pass it to Jody, who's kind of thinking through some of those kind of fun, different ways to support our Meadowbrook community.
Yeah, first I want to just start too with, just since we have like a highly dedicated group here, if you have any connections to businesses, friends, or have like a great idea, a talent, a hobby that you could share and do a gathering, we would fully embrace that and love it if you would please donate your time, energy, efforts, get some friends together and come up with like a great idea. We're finding that people are really interested in Jones to like get out and get around people. So we think those are going to be big for us this year. In terms of sort of getting the word out, we're doing a lot more social media this year. We've got a whole plan for the next month or so. We're going to be doing some challenges internally in the building, actually, to get kids excited about it. So they'll talk about it with, you know, kind of, we're working with Natalie and Trent to kind of figure out what those things are going to be and what they're going to look like, but get the kids excited in the building and bring home that enthusiasm to home. The week of April 5th is when the auction kicks off, and kids are coming back from spring break. We're going to have the Hopkins mascot available and running around at drop off and pick up, hopefully both those times, and maybe another time during the week. With a QR code where people can start viewing auction items immediately and kind of see them throughout the week, but really to like generate interest and enthusiasm there too. I will do a shout out too, if anybody needs, or if anyone knows anyone that would be great in a mascot costume, please ping us, meadowbrooksa@gmail.com.
Trent, come on.
We could definitely, yeah. So think about it. Friends, family, your husband, your wife, whatever. We would love to have them. We need a high energy human to help us out. So let's see. And then we are working kind of on our event program. So on the night of the 9th at 7 p.m., we're planning kind of a night of fun. It's a Zoom call. We have hired a host who's fun and energetic and who's going to get everyone involved. We'll do some of those fun to need items, and the program's being worked out right now, but tune in for more. We'll have more information in the coming week or two.
So fun. I'm excited.
I am too. Thanks for all your hard work,
I
ladies.
fall into the category of people looking to see people. Okay, so Betsy, would you give us a little rundown? We've seen some updates in Natalie's messages about a school board budget discussion.
Yes, I mean, just very 10,000 foot perspective. Annually, the school board has to make a decision on the budget for the next school year. And this year, the school board is certainly facing some challenges, as is every public school district across the state, because we are in a pandemic, and the pandemic has hit public education in a way that we have never seen before and we weren't expecting. One quick example, if you think about Kids and Co numbers, for let's say maybe Kids and Co typically is staffed for 900 kids. This year it's staffed, we actually only have about 300 kids participating I think that's maybe district-wide, or yeah, that must be district-wide, but we're still staffing at that 900 kid level because of our schedules changing so often and needing to have that coverage. So that's a huge hit to a budget, because you're paying for 100% of the amazing staff, but only getting a third of the revenue. And that's got to be made up somewhere. So that's just one example of a budget implication that districts are facing in the pandemic. As soon as I flip back into still being on the school board, sorry, they are going to have to be making some decisions. Sorry, I've got, hi. This is going to be easier just to hold him. And they're going to have to vote on that, but they want the input of our community to do that. So there's a school board meeting tonight. They're having info sessions. I believe they've got the ability to go with daddy. Okay, sorry.
No, you're good. I was going to say there's the next one that is available to us. I think there was one earlier tonight, but there's that. It's March 9th from 5 to 6.
Yeah.
It's like a community discussion.
And if for some reason that doesn't work for your schedule, there is a way to contact the school board on the website where you can email all of them. And I think it's pretty slick to do that, but it's definitely an opportunity to join in and add your voice to that conversation. On the other side, there's the ability to add your voice to the advocacy aspect of that, because we do have a legislative action coalition for the Hopkins Public Schools that is in direct conversation with all of our legislators, advocating for things that will help not just Hopkins, but help public schools this summer and in next year. For example, there's a communication that went out today to some of the committee chairs at the legislature, urging them to address COVID-19 recovery issues for public education. That would have a direct impact on Hopkins and on every public school district across the state. So that's a way that you can make a difference. Add your voice to the school board conversations, but also add your voice to the advocacy conversations.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Betsy. So I just wanted to add really quickly to that the school board is really asking for parents' input and asking for parents just attention on this right now. I think I don't know enough to speak a lot about it, but there's a good chance our classrooms are going to be looking different next year. And they don't want it coming as a big surprise to us if we have combined classrooms. And that's, that's kind of where the conversation is going right now, is them getting creative with what are some options. Natalie, I don't know if you have any more information about that, but just wanted to encourage everybody to be on that call next Tuesday, just to get a little more information, so it doesn't come as a surprise.
So I think we're winding up. Your book, we need to ask Shanna to give us a little update on where we're at and plug our sales. I'm going to put a link to the flyer in the chat. Hopefully that opens the flyer that you can view to order.
Yeah. So the yearbook is all done. Katie and I actually finished it at the end of last week. And we're just working with Strawbridge to do a couple final updates, and then we'll have the proof in. And then Natalie and someone from her office staff will be proofing it for us. So that is all done. We have a really cool spread for the 6th graders that are outgoing this year. So I think they'll be pretty excited to see that. We do have a couple spots for like autograph pages, so the kids, can note in there too. Sales do close on Friday, on the 5th. So if you know of any other parents who may have been thinking about it or haven't ordered theirs yet, please let them know. We normally sell around 600 books each year, and as of like an hour ago, we were at 358. So, and I think we committed to 600. So, I don't know if they hold firm to, what was written in there, but we kind of based our numbers off of prior years. So we still have quite a few to make up for that. But other than that, yeah, it went really smoothly. And we got a lot of great pictures from, the 6th grade parents that I think the kids will really enjoy. And the teachers were great at sending in pictures too.
Good. That's so awesome. Thank you so much.
Shanna and Katie, just so you both know, there's another social media push going out on Thursday, and then another one on Friday. What time on Friday do sales close?
I'm guessing like 11:59.
Okay.
They
like
didn't really
noon.
give us a time. No.
Okay.
So I'm just assuming like cut off on the next day. So, I mean, there's the other thing is, if I could ask if we could extend it, if we think that it's going to get us anything extra. We did ask the office, and I know that Cami did this, to send home flyers on Monday. And I know Sophie, I got hers this morning, actually. It was in her backpack from last night. So those did go out. The only other thing that I can think of is that we could ask if we could kind of have some on the outside of the school by drop off and pick up areas. But I don't know if we really want parents gawking at that area either, because I know we're trying to get people to keep moving. So we just sent those home to try and hit some people who may not be on, the social media aspects of it.
I guess I was wondering if perhaps as a PTO, we would say, let's purchase up to the number that we said we would for the contract number, and then sell. I know families will come and say,
right,
we'd like one. And if we get to the end of the year and we still have X amount, then we could give them to students that have said they wanted one, but maybe couldn't afford one. But I just wondered if maybe that's a good use of PTO funds to purchase up to the contract number and then have them either for sale, reimbursing PTO, or that we end up giving away.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Maybe we can talk on Friday. Shanna, when people leave, it moves on my screen. So
I'm sorry. Yeah. So, and the books were less expensive than they were in past years. And the main reason I think is just the switching of companies. This is a new company we hadn't used before. Okay. So they were $13, and that we had rounded up. So we're hoping that we covered shipping within that too. So yeah, I can let you guys know. If you want to send me an email on Friday, let me know. Yeah. I'll let you know, sorry, where we're at for a count. And then we can look at what that would be to make up the difference.
Thank you. I will do that.
Yep. Thanks, everybody.
Really official note. Last plug would be for restaurant night on March 9th is Chipotle. And they are doing online ordering promo codes this year, which is really awesome because that one is popular, but the line gets long and that's kind of annoying. So we'll just keep pushing that on social media, and I assume it's in your weekly update too, Natalie. So, well, thank you everybody. Does anybody have any last comments for the group? Good night, little buddy. Oh, he's so cute. We appreciate all of you coming, and we will commit to working on the topics we talked about with Dr. Brown, and anybody who's interested, come forward, ask your friends if you know they're interested. Like, we definitely are, with Stacy and I being our first year, like, we're totally open to, outside the box and changing it up. And this is the year, COVID has allowed us some positives to things can look different because we had this year, right? So thanks everybody.
Thanks so much for coming.